shocking news has just come through. Malcom X has been shot dead today, February 21st, 1965, while speaking at the rally of his organisation in Harlem City. We'll come back to you when we have more information on this. Malcolm was my friend, and he had come a long way from his roots. You know, when Malcolm was a little boy, his house was burned down by the KKK, and his father was later murdered. You know, he used to grow up in Michigan but moved to Harlem, and he turned to crime. He even went to prison for burglary. Jail was eye-opening to him. He began to read and educate himself. He even converted to Islam whilst he was in prison and formed a new identity. As many of you may know, the slave trade was a massive thing back in the 1900s. You know, all of black people's surnames were changed. Malcolm even took his own surname away and became X because he believed his true identity was stolen from him when his ancestors were bought into the slave trade. Well, I did know Martin Luther King. I knew him. He was a minister at the Baptist church. I did not attend that church. It was a blacks only church because segregation was not a thing then, so I could not attend. But I did know him for me being a minister myself. I had met him at his rallies. Some I did go to myself. You know, Martin, he preached his gospel of peaceful change and integration, but I know for a fact Malcolm X delivered a different message. Well, I think what the real question is, how did Martin Luther King's views differ from Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam's? Well, Malcolm X said that whites were not to be trusted. He called on African Americans to be proud of their heritage and to set up strong communities without the help of white Americans. He promoted the establishment of a separate state for African Americans in which they could rely on themselves to provide solutions for their own problems. Hello. Some of you may know me as your classmate Jade Howard, but today I'm here to paint the picture for you of what the Nation of Islam was.
Wallace Fard founded the Nation of Islam in the 1930s. Fard said Christianity was a white man's religion, and though Islam was closer to African roots and identity. Members of the Nation of Islam read the Quran, worshipped Allah, and accepted Muhammad as the chief prophet. The followers of Fard became known as Black Muslims. Fard mysteriously disappeared. Elijah Muhammad became the new leader of the movement. The Nation of Islam attracted many followers, especially in prisons, where lost African Americans most looked for guidance. When Malcolm X converted to this, Elijah Muhammad immediately recognised his potential and decided to make him leading spokesperson of Black Muslims. They did not want segregation, but they wanted their own black churches, their own black schools, their own black communities, and their own black support networks.
Well, being a close friend of Malcolm's and all that, I believe that he did split from the Nation of Islam group in 1963. Elijah Muhammad chose to suspend him. He believed Malcolm had become too powerful. And I believe that this happened for a reason. Before Malcolm's death, I really believe Allah or God, touched him in some way. And this was the last straw before I really think Malcolm found his inner peace. In 1964, he made the pilgrimage to Mecca, which for some of you, you might not know, it's the fifth pillar of Islam. Muslims should try and do this. And on that trip, he already showed signs of softening his stand on violence, and he even met with Martin Luther King Jr. to exchange remarks. I never got to see Malcolm again, but I never will know what path he chose to lie with. Did he stick with his violence? Did he stick with peace? Honestly, I think he was gonna stick with peace on this one.
After his pilgrimage to Mecca in 1964, Malcolm X said, "I saw all races, all colours, blue-eyed blondes to black-skinned Africans in true brotherhood. I now know that some whites are truly sincere and are capable of being brotherly towards a black man. On the 21st February 1965, 1 week after his home was firebombed, Malcom X was shot to death by a Nation of Islam member while speaking at the rally of his organisation in New York City.